Welcome to Learn English with Legends. Today, we explore the life of Helen Keller, a woman born blind and deaf who overcame impossible challenges. Discover her journey of courage, learning, and inspiration.
Helen Keller, The Light Beyond Darkness. Part 1, The Silent World. Helen Adams Keller was born on June 27, 1880, in Tuscumbia, Alabama, into a world that seemed bright and full of possibility. Her parents, Captain Arthur Keller and Kate Keller, were well-educated and loving, eager to nurture their child with all the love and care they could give. As a baby, Helen was curious and lively. She would laugh at the smallest wonders, reaching out to touch the fluttering leaves, the sunlight dancing through the window, and the delicate petals of the flowers in the family garden. But when Helen was only 19 months old, her life changed forever. A sudden illness, likely scarlet fever or meningitis, struck her tiny body. Within days, Helen was left both blind and deaf. For a young child who had just begun exploring the world with sight and sound, this new reality was unimaginably cruel. The house that had once echoed with her laughter now filled with silence and uncertainty. Helen's frustration grew as she tried to communicate. She wanted to express herself, to share her thoughts and feelings, but no one could understand her. She would cry, scream, and throw temper tantrums, not out of misbehavior, but out of sheer desperation. Imagine being trapped inside your own mind, surrounded by loving faces you cannot see or hear. This was Helen's silent world. Her family, loving but bewildered, struggled to reach her. They tried talking, touching, and showing things, but nothing seemed to break through the invisible walls of her isolation. The house became a place of tension. Helen's anger and confusion sometimes terrified her caregivers. Yet, beneath her rebelliousness, Helen possessed a bright and intelligent mind, waiting for the key that could unlock her world. For years, Helen lived in this quiet darkness, until one day, when she was 6 years old, a letter arrived for the Keller family. It was not just any letter. It was a message that would change Helen's life forever. The letter was from a remarkable young teacher named Sullivan, who herself had faced challenges in her childhood, including vision problems and poverty, and had trained at the Perkins School for the Blind and had developed extraordinary patience and skill in teaching children like Helen, and arrived at the Keller home with a single mission: to connect Helen to the world through language. At first, Helen was wary, resisting every attempt to guide her, and was relentless. She used a system of manual sign language, spelling words into Helen's tiny hand. The first lesson was a simple word, water, and placed Helen's hand under the flowing water of a pump while repeatedly spelling WTR into her other hand. At first, Helen did not understand. The letters were just meaningless motions. But then, as the cool water touched her palm and then spelled again, a spark of comprehension ignited. She realized that the letters represented the substance she could feel, that language could bridge her silent world with the living world around her. The breakthrough transformed Helen. For the first time, she understood that she could communicate, that there were ways to reach out and connect with others. Her fiery temper and frustration did not vanish instantly, but its patient guidance began to give her life structure, meaning, and hope. Day by day, Helen learned new words, connecting objects and actions with the letters spelled into her hands. She discovered the joy of learning and the possibility of expressing her thoughts, once locked away. And Sullivan became more than a teacher to Helen. She became a companion, a guide, and a bridge to the world. Their bond was unbreakable, built on trust, patience, and love. Helen's intelligence and curiosity, once trapped in silence and darkness, began to flourish under Anne's careful guidance. Together, they laid the foundation for a future that no one, not even Helen herself, could have imagined in those early years of struggle. The story of Helen Keller's childhood is a story of resilience and courage, not just on her part, but on the part of those who believed in her potential. It shows us that even in the darkest moments, the human spirit can find a way to connect, to learn, and to triumph. Part 2, Unlocking the Mind. After the breakthrough with the word water, Helen Keller's life began to change in profound ways. The spark had been lit, and with Sullivan's patient guidance, it grew into a flame of curiosity, determination, and boundless potential. Every day, and devoted herself to Helen's education, teaching her not only words but also the meaning behind them. She spelled letters into Helen's hand with meticulous care, connecting each tactile sign to objects, actions, and emotions. Helen's learning was far from easy. Each new word was a mountain to climb, each concept a complex puzzle. But Helen was relentless. Her fierce intelligence and insatiable curiosity drove her forward. She absorbed language with astonishing speed, eventually learning to spell hundreds of words into her hand, forming sentences, and even expressing abstract ideas. Her once silent world began to open into a vibrant universe of thought. Education became Helen's passion. She began to read Braille books, discovering stories of faraway lands, scientific ideas, and the beauty of literature, and encouraged her to write, guiding her hand as she learned to form letters and words on paper. Helen's mind, once trapped in darkness and silence, now soared with ideas, imagination, and dreams. Yet, Helen's journey was not just academic. She had to learn to navigate the world around her. Everyday tasks that others took for granted, eating, dressing, moving through the house, were immense challenges for Helen. But with Anne's support, she mastered them one by one. Anne was not just a teacher. She was a companion, a mentor, and a patient friend who believed in Helen when others were unsure what she could achieve. The bond between Helen and Anne grew stronger with each passing day. Anne's devotion went beyond lessons. She was a bridge between Helen and the world. Helen came to understand that the love and persistence of one dedicated person could overcome what seemed impossible. Anne's own story of perseverance inspired Helen to dream bigger and push harder. By her teenage years, Helen Keller had become an extraordinary student. She was the first deafblind child in the United States to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree, graduating cum laude from Radcliffe College in 1904. Her success was a triumph not just of intellect, but of courage, determination, and the unbreakable human spirit. Helen's achievements demonstrated that the limitations imposed by the body could never confine a mind filled with passion, curiosity, and resilience. But Helen's accomplishments were not her own alone. They were inseparable from Anne Sullivan's unwavering guidance. Anne's innovative methods, patience, and unwavering belief in Helen's potential transformed a world of silence and darkness into a landscape of knowledge and opportunity. Their partnership became legendary, a testament to what can be achieved when love, determination, and education meet. Helen Keller did not stop there. She became a writer, a speaker, and an advocate for people with disabilities. Her lectures and books inspired countless individuals worldwide, showing that obstacles are not the end of the road, but challenges to be met with courage and persistence. Helen used her voice, once thought impossible, to advocate for equality, education, and compassion. The lessons from Helen's journey resonate far beyond her personal story. She teaches us that the mind is limitless when fueled by perseverance, that human connection can open doors to unimaginable possibilities, and that courage is often born in the face of the greatest adversity. Helen Keller's teenage and young adult years were a time of transformation and triumph, proof that the human spirit can not only survive hardship, but flourish in its midst. Her relationship with Anne Sullivan remained a cornerstone of her success, a reminder that mentorship, love, and guidance can change the course of a life forever. Part 3. A voice that echoed across the world. Helen Keller's journey did not end with her graduation from Radcliffe College. In fact, it was only the beginning of a life dedicated to advocacy, education, and inspiring others. Having overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges, Helen sought to use her experience to empower those who, like her, faced obstacles in life. She began traveling across the United States and Europe, delivering lectures and speeches that captivated audiences. Imagine a woman who could neither see nor hear, standing before hundreds of people, conveying ideas with clarity, passion, and authority. Helen's lectures were not only a demonstration of intellectual brilliance, but also the indomitable human spirit. She shared her story, offering hope and encouragement to all who faced difficulties. Helen's writings were equally impactful. Her first book, The Story of My Life, written with the guidance of Anne Sullivan, became a bestseller and an international sensation. The book detailed her struggles, her triumphs, and the extraordinary bond she shared with Anne. Through her words, Helen invited readers into her world, allowing them to understand how language, perseverance, and love can transform even the darkest circumstances into opportunity. Throughout her life, Helen Keller became a powerful advocate for people with disabilities, fighting tirelessly for education, accessibility, and equal rights. She worked with organizations such as the American Foundation for Blind, promoting programs that would provide resources, education, and hope to countless individuals. Her advocacy extended beyond disability issues. She championed causes of social justice, women's suffrage, and world peace, believing firmly in the potential of every human being to contribute meaningfully to society. The bond between Helen and remains central to her life. Anne Sullivan, now a lifelong companion and mentor, continued guiding Helen in her public endeavors, ensuring that her message reached audiences with clarity and depth. Their partnership exemplified how mentorship, love, and dedication can shape history. Even as Anne's health declined, Helen's spirit carried forward the lessons she had learned: resilience, determination, and compassion. Helen's influence reached beyond speeches and books. She inspired generations of scientists, educators, and ordinary people to look beyond limitations. Her story became a symbol of courage in the face of adversity, a reminder that the human spirit can rise above physical constraints when fueled by passion and determination. Many, including young minds like Maria Mirzakhani, found in Helen Keller a source of strength and inspiration. Mirzakhani once mentioned how Helen's story reminded her that challenges are opportunities in disguise, a belief that guided her own journey to greatness. Helen Keller lived a long and impactful life, leaving behind a legacy that continues to touch the world. She received numerous awards and honors, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom, in recognition of her contributions to society. Yet, what truly defined her life was not the accolades, but the lives she touched, the minds she inspired, and the hope she instilled in those who faced difficulties. Her story teaches us that disability does not mean inability, that perseverance can turn obstacles into achievements, and that the power of human connection through mentorship, teaching, and love can open doors that once seemed permanently closed. Helen Keller's life remains a testament to what is possible when courage, determination, and compassion guide every step. Part 4, A Legacy of Light. Helen Keller's journey from darkness and silence to global influence is a story that transcends time. Her life teaches us that limits exist only in the mind and that courage, persistence, and love can illuminate even the darkest paths. Even in her later years, Helen remained active and committed to her mission. She continued advocating for the blind and deaf, lecturing worldwide and inspiring people of all ages. Her tireless work showed that one individual, regardless of physical limitations, can create change on a global scale. Helen's relationship with Anne Sullivan remained the cornerstone of her life, and had once been the key that unlocked Helen's silent world, and their bond became a lifelong partnership. Anne's devotion, patience, and wisdom shaped Helen's character, while Helen's determination and brilliance validated Anne's faith. Their story reminds us of the profound impact that mentorship and love can have on shaping a person's destiny. Through her writing, speeches, and advocacy, Helen Keller left an indelible mark on history. She broke barriers not only for those with disabilities, but also for anyone facing challenges in life. Her message is clear. Obstacles are not the end. They are opportunities to rise, to learn, and to inspire others. Helen's life has inspired countless individuals, including brilliant minds like Maria Mirzakhani, who saw in Helen a symbol of perseverance and hope. She proved that even when the world seems closed off, doors can be opened through knowledge, determination, and human connection. As we reflect on Helen Keller's story, we see a life defined not by limitations, but by possibility. From a first touch of water on her hand to the global platforms where she spoke, Helen's journey reminds us that the human spirit is unstoppable when guided by courage and love. Her legacy continues to shine, encouraging everyone to reach beyond fear and adversity. Helen Keller's life is a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in silence and darkness, one can achieve greatness and inspire generations to come.
Helen Keller's life shows that no obstacle is too big. If her story inspired you, like, subscribe, and comment your favorite part. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to shine.